Cool. Hey everybody, welcome to another training here. And today I really want to cover about let's just make sure this stuff is working on Facebook. Cool. Yeah, today I really want to cover about funding Roth IRA for your kids, right? So we're gonna do it in 3 simple steps. Okay. First, we're gonna talk about what is really a Roth IRA and how is it beneficial to anybody, and then we're gonna see how we can apply it to the kids. Step number 2, we're going to talk about Roth IRA for kids, right? How can you fund it? And step number 3, which I didn't have enough space here, but we're going to talk about how can you create that income so that you can fund Roth IRA for the kids. So really, we're going to talk briefly about hiring children. All right, let's get right into it. So Roth IRA, what is really a Roth IRA and what are the benefits of it? So if you really think about it, we have 2 types of retirement accounts in America, right? I mean, we have many types, but it really comes down to 2 contribution types. One contribution is Roth IRA, which is not tax deductible. The money going in, you do not get any tax benefits by putting the money in, okay? The second contribution is a traditional IRA. This could be your 401k, your SEP IRA, your cash balance plan, your regular traditional IRA. The money going in there is tax deductible. The difference between these 2 accounts is that when you retire, any money that you take out from Roth IRA, including its earnings, are all tax-free to you, okay? Whereas with traditional, any investment earnings are taxable to you. So what you're really doing are deferring income, right? So for example, if that could be your 401k, that is deferral of your income, right? So you're getting a deduction right now, but in the future, you're gonna pay tax on it, plus whatever investment income that it had. So that's really the main difference between Roth IRA and traditional IRA. Now, the Roth IRA isn't an individual account. You can open up a Roth IRA by having a 401k. We're not going to go into details of that because that is outside the scope of our today's training. But the Roth IRA isn't an individual IRA. That means you don't have to have a business to have a Roth IRA. As long as you have earned income, you can have Roth IRA. The contributions to Roth IRA limit. They limit at $6,000 or $7,000 if you're over the age of 50. That's called catch-up contribution, okay? So the money goes into the Roth IRA and it earns tax-free investment income. By the time you retire, you can take the money out and anything that it has earned tax-free. There are some exceptions to the rule, which we're going to talk about in step number 2, but that's really the difference between traditional and Roth IRA and the benefits of Roth IRA. Now, we're going to talk about funding the Roth IRA for your kids, right? Why is it beneficial for you to have Roth IRA for your children instead, okay? Number 1, in order for kids to qualify to have a Roth IRA, they need to have earned income. That could be working for you in your business, which we're going to cover in step number 3. Or they could be working anywhere else. Or even kids can have a self-employment income, right? This income can be from W-2, from self-employment, dog walking, babysitting, whatever it is that you want. If any of that income is being reported, which it should be, if any of that income is being reported, well, guess what? You can now open up Roth IRA for your kids, and we're going to talk about the benefits in a minute. So, number 1, make sure they have an earned income in order for you to be able to do that. Number 2, there are no age restrictions. Yes. There's no age restrictions. Any age, a 2-year-old can be a model for the magazine, have an earned income, and open up a Roth IRA account. And of course, it has to be on the custodial account, which is the parent. Okay? No age restrictions. And my most favorite is no tax bracket. What does that mean? That pretty much means that right now your child is not going to pay any taxes on the income that they earn up to $12,950 because that is the standard deduction. That means anybody in America can earn up to $12,950 and not pay any income tax on it. Already 0 bracket. So the fact that the child doesn't get a deduction for putting the money into the Roth IRA, it's totally fine. It's really your income that's kind of flowing in through the child, right? If you're hiring a child in a business. So no tax bracket. The money goes into the Roth IRA, earns tax-free income, and the entire thing becomes tax-free to your child. And think about it, if your child starts working at age 10, And by the time they're in college, and we're going to talk about some college benefits here, or by the time they get married, or by the time they're 59 and a half, how much money that is going to accumulate inside a Roth IRA, all of that will be tax-free, and that is because you properly planned for their future, okay? So we've got a no tax bracket. Now, let's talk about some of the benefits here, right? So think about it this way. This is your child, right? Puts the money into Roth IRA, the contributions. Let's work with a $6,000 number, okay? Put $6,000 into Roth IRA. Let's assume there are no earnings there for just a minute. You put $6,000 for the next 3 years. 6,000, that's now 12,000, that's now 18,000. You can take the money out after 5 years of account being open. We've got a 5-year rule, very important. After 5 years of account being open, you can take the money out, any money that you contributed, right? Only your original contributions, without paying any penalty or any tax on it. Obviously, you didn't get a tax deduction when you put the money in. But what's important is that if you compare it to other retirement accounts, such as traditional IRA, 401k, SEP IRA, whatever that is, you're not allowed to touch your money until you're 59 and a half. Why? Because the government says, dude, listen, genius, you've got a tax deduction when you put the money in. We're locking it away, baby, all right? With a Roth IRA, regardless if it's you or your baby or your child, right, you can take the original contributions before 59 and a half. I don't know, life happens, right? So you can go ahead and take the money out without paying any penalty, any tax-free on distributions before you're 59 and a half, but that's on the contributions, okay? Now, you might have already, now in first example, we assume there's no investment income being earned, but now let's talk about having an investment income, right? Now we've got the investment income being earned in your Roth IRA, or in this case, in your child's Roth IRA, okay? The investment income, if you withdraw the investment income, that could be subject to tax and penalty depending on different situations, right? But right now, we're focusing on planning for our investment income so we can take the money out before the child reaches 59 and a half. I mean, come on, the child, if you start employing your child at 10 years of age, you've got to wait 50 years to get the money out? No, that's why we're doing tax planning strategies, right? So now the way this is going to work is that your child puts a contribution, or you as a custodian, right, put a contribution for your child if your child has earned income. No age restrictions, remember, right? Put the $6,000 in. Let's assume the $6,000 turns into $8,000 within a few years. That's the only contribution you made. Again, we're using just one example here, right? And we gotta follow 5-year rule. That means within 5 years, you can't touch the money, which is okay, all right? You can, but there's gonna be penalties and taxes associated with that. Now, we'll meet the 5-year rule, which we hired our child at age 10. Now the child is 18 years old and is going to college, or the child is 21 years old and has a master's degree that they need the money for, right? Or is it 21 years old that you get a master's degree? I don't know. 22, 23, I haven't been in college for a while, okay? So, did not like being in college, but although the best years. Okay, cool. Anyways, so what happens is that your child can withdraw the money from Roth IRA, okay? The child can take the money out from Roth IRA. Any contributions and any investment income that it earned, completely tax-free. There's few exceptions. We're going to focus on 2 exceptions here. Exception number 1, the child needs to pay qualified college tuition expenses, okay? So college tuition can be paid for by Roth IRA. Now, if you really think about it for a second, right? If we go back over here, and I'm going to talk about that in step 3, if you were the business owner and you paid your child a salary, you got a deduction. The child didn't pay any income tax on it. The child funded the Roth. The child earned investment income, tax-free, and then the child used that money to pay for college tuition. You basically paid for college tuition and earned some money tax-free, all by employing your child, which I'm already jumping into step 3, all right? Really, really cool strategy. Exception rule number 2, let's say your child now gets married and they've got this money in the Roth IRA that you as a parent planned for them, okay? That you as a parent planned for them, and now the child decides to buy their first home. Well, guess what? Up to $10,000 withdrawal from the Roth IRA, okay, is tax-free penalty-free, including any investment income for the first-time home buyers. Now, that applies to you too if you have money in your Roth IRA, first-time home buyer. But now we have just planned this entire scenario for our child to be able to dip into their savings, quote unquote, right? Or no, quote unquote retirement, but a real savings account, a real money generator account for themselves to be able to do this. Now, I'm not going to discuss this any farther, what I'm about to tell you, but think about it this way. There's possibilities now for you to be able to have a self-directed Roth IRA. That means if you don't like what the financial institution is doing with your money, you can direct where you invested it, and your investment could be better than what the financial institution is offering you. So instead of earning the 10% of the whatever average that they earn for you, right, you'll be able to earn 20 or 30% by investing in crypto or anything of that sort that you want, your heart desires. All of that will be earned for your child to be able to do these two things at least, right? And have that cushion sitting there for the child. And all you are doing, what? Contributing $6,000 a year for your child. Your child might have a summer job. Your child might have a babysitting job. Your child might have a nanny job. Whatever that may be, as long as they have earned income, help them do this for themselves. Step number 3, which is not on this whiteboard, and let's kind of, this looks really good. I don't want to erase it, but I will. All right, step number 3 is that how can we, now that we talked about this strategy, how can we bring it to fruition or fruition, right? And everybody that's watching this video is most likely a business owner. So how can we bring this strategy to fruition, all right? Now, what we need to do is, number 1, create opportunities for our kids in our business, right? Hire your children to work for you in your business. You achieve 2, 3, 4, a million benefits out of doing that. We're going to focus on a couple, all right? So this is you, and this is your child. Okay, you can pay your child up to $12,950. Now, why $12,950? This is a 2022 standard deduction, that for an individual. That means any person in America can work and earn up to $12,950 and not pay any income tax on it if they didn't have any other income, all right? Basically, the government says, hey, make up to 13 grand, don't pay any tax on it. Whoa, that means that your child can earn $12,950, not pay any income tax on it. Well, you as a parent have a duty and an obligation, right, to take advantage of this strategy. Number 1 benefit is you're going to get a deduction for this amount. Goes to your child, tax-free. Number 2, right, help your children fund Roth IRA, right? Again, the money is going to go here. They're going to go to Roth IRA. Look what you just created. You got a deduction for yourself. If you're in a 30% bracket, that's at least $3,600 in savings, right? And then we've got money getting a deduction. The child receives a tax-free, doesn't pay any income tax on it, and the child funds their Roth IRA at $6,000 a year. The money grows tax-free, okay? And then the money comes out tax-free for, number 1, college tuition. Number 2, first-time home purchase. Did you just create this scenario for yourself by properly planning out your tax strategies? You bet you did, okay? You bet you did. So anyways, these are the 3 simple steps on funding the Roth IRA for your children. I hope you enjoyed the video. Thank you so much for watching.